Before me, there was another girl. I think she was like the second or the third girl, but they also wanted to stay anonymous.
Being in a room full of Bitcoiners just feels so different.
I don't take pictures of myself and put it on the social media. Like, it's not something that I'm used to. I'm not an influencer. I talk with my normie friends and they're like, I don't know, everything is getting more expensive and we'll never afford a house and my salary is not good enough and I have to get a second job and whatever, but they are not aware of why is this happening.
Bitcoin is something where you have to put your ego away.
I get what you're saying, but I think that you are from Germany or not?
Austria, but
Okay. You
almost
speak.
German.
Yeah, okay. I speak a bit of. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Oh, tatsächlich. Wow.
That's why I noticed that in your email it came in German, the appointment email.
Yes, actually, because my Google is in German, like my Google account is set in German. So I don't know. The text message I wrote in English, but some things are coming in German.
Okay.
It's like I don't know how to. I should actually. I think I should set it up differently.
I think
But
it's cool.
yeah, you said it in the beginning that you only want to work for Bitcoin companies now. Like why and when did you decide that?
I was working for a normie company here in Chile in the marketing department. I was like marketing coordinator, but mostly working with the social media and stuff. And I don't know, I kind of got a bit tired of it, even though I learned a lot with them. Like they were nice people and all. There are some things that I just think that are in the fiat culture that you don't see in the Bitcoin culture. And I wanted to search for that. And also, I wanted to have more time to do my art. So this job was a full-time job, and it was going like more than full-time. And I wanted, I decided last year, like I want to go back to my art. I don't know, I think I was like for 1 year, I couldn't make a new piece or something like that. And I said like, this is not possible. Like I need to make my art. And so I wanted to look for part-time jobs. And since I was going to just start looking for them, like I quit my job and I said, okay, now I'm gonna search for them. I decided to search in the Bitcoin community first. Like I think that's um, once, because you learn so much, and because I'm already obsessed with Bitcoin, so I think it's like putting it to a better use that only in my head, you know. Yeah.
So it's an interesting approach because a lot of people are trying to first figure out what are they doing before they leave the job. Like they are like searching for part-time jobs or searching for like, but you just took the step and like, I want to be not working there, and then I will search for it. Like I think it's a brave step.
It wasn't easy, but I have a lot of support. At the moment, I was going through like kind of as I was living with someone, and then I moved back with my parents. So it was like everything was changing, and they are helping me a lot. And they said like, now is the time for you to do what you want and what you love. And that's, I think that's the main reason why I was able to make the decision, even though it was hard to make at the moment, with all the support and all. It was like, is this stupid or not? Like, am I doing the right thing here? But it's turning out very good, so I'm very happy.
And now you're working at Love is Bitcoin as a community manager, as I understood it. You are working with Panties for Bitcoin. You are
Yes.
having your own art store. Do I miss anything?
No. I
Okay.
mean, I'm always looking for some collaborations, and uh, sometimes some brands want to do something with art, but I don't know if I can talk about that yet because it's not ready. But I'm hoping, yes, that that will be out very soon. And if anyone wants to do like a collaboration, I'm very happy. I really like. I think that. when two people or more like come together to work, it's always something good comes out of it. Like we each one of us has their own perspective, and together we can build something much I don't know, like greater or something.
Yeah, that's one of the main points why I start the podcast, because I think when two or three, one podcast I already did with three people, minds come together and have an focused discussion, like 1 hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes. It depends the time. All There's always some unique things coming out, and and you're now actually my 20th guest, and. I always learn something new. I always have some new thing, and it's a beautiful perspective that when people are coming together, talking with each other, there is something coming out, or collaboration, working together. So I like that. Maybe let's start with the Love is Bitcoin channel, because I think this is the, maybe with Panties for Bitcoin, the most known thing. The Love is Bitcoin X channel. I think almost everybody saw it at least once when he was in the Bitcoin community. Like, it has 15,000 followers. It's really, really, really active. A lot of posts are coming out. Today before the interview, I scroll a little bit through what are you posting, and I'm like, wow, it's like hard to get to the yesterday posts because there's a lot of posts and reposts going on. And a lot of people, I think, don't even know that there is like a team of 5 people. A lot of people are also surprised that the founder of Love is Bitcoin is a man. I think
Hmm.
everybody assumes it's like only one person and a woman behind it. What's the story about Love is Bitcoin, and what are you doing there?
Yeah, George is one of the founders. There are other founders. I don't quite remember if they want to stay anonymous, but I think it was founded also with a woman.
Oh,
But
okay.
George is very publicly about his image and his account. Before me, I've been working with them for like 6 months. And before me, there was another girl like doing the social media and all. I think she was like the second or the third girl, but they also wanted to stay anonymous. So that was a bit controversial because people didn't know who was talking or couldn't put a face into this character. And so when I started talking to George, he asked me like, would you be willing to be more than just managing the account, but to be the face and voice of Libby, who is a character? um, and I was like, that was super challenging for me. Like I'm not like it's embarrassing for me. Like I'm not a very I don't take pictures of myself and put it on the social media. Like it's not something that I'm used to. I'm not an influencer. But I thought that it would be like a very good lesson for me, like to learn this, to acquire new skills, to be less I don't know, like how do you call it? Like I have like stage frightened. Like sometimes I'm afraid of talking in public or something like that. And this has helped me a lot because since I'm an artist, I think it's important to be able to communicate, to talk about your work, to expose yourself. And this helps the projects you do like get to other people. Like I understand how social media works. Like people want to connect, so if you don't show yourself, it's really hard. um, so I think that was the most challenging part, but I'm happy that I don't know, that this came through in my path, and now I'm learning, and I'm trying to get better every day. Mhm.
And you also have your own channel with like a 3 or 4 thousand followers on X, and you have like your own art store. So like it's you're not completely hidden by now, right? You're like giving, like, you're more and more out there.
Yeah, because I really want to try my best in my art, and I think that one part is like how do you get people to see it. What I realized that all that I had learned, like in marketing and social media, I wasn't doing for myself because I was like kind of embarrassed or whatever. now I'm trying to like do that, and in my own account like post more. But if you see, like I'm not you are not going to find many like pictures of myself. Like I'm in my social media, I'm more used to post about the work, or like thoughts, or like repost other people works, because I want this channel to be about art, and not about me, even though I'm learning that that's also part of it, you know.
And when did you actually got first into Bitcoin? Like, was it you that had your fiat job and you learned about Bitcoin before you made the switch to the Bitcoin companies, right?
Yes. um so I learned about Bitcoin through my family. Actually, I live in Chile, and at the time, I was living with my parents. I was studying, um, and my dad, since like more than 20 years, has been working for the same company, which is a German company. So we always had like that problem of moving the money around, like this his salary for us to live. And so when Bitcoin started like to get a bit bigger, I don't know, like he started learning about it, and he figured that this would be like a very good tool to, like, if you could with the euros buy the Bitcoin in Kraken and then sell it in Chile for pesos, you're moving your salary without the banks and many of these uh, complications, and paying less for it. And that's when like the whole family started learning more about Bitcoin. And my brother, I don't know, I think at the time was studying engineer, like he's a software engineer. So he was like really interested in the technical aspects of it. And I don't know, I was learning through osmosis, you know, like I didn't get it, but they were talking about it all the time. And you start like questioning, like, what is that? And then they said, like, okay, this is like, when they got my attention, was like, now you have to start reading for yourself, like we have explained a lot. And for me, like, reading some books wasn't actually that hard, because I had already been like taught about this, even though I'm not a technological person, or I don't come from that world. And yeah, and then in like 2020, or near like the pandemic and all, is when I started doing my art in Bitcoin. That came first, and I realized that when I'm doing the art pieces, I'm trying to understand Bitcoin even more, and I am very obsessed about the philosophical aspects, or how this will shape our society, or how, like, how is this changing the way we behave, the way we think. And yeah, that's what interests me the most, even though the code, and I think it's beautiful as it is. I'm more attracted about how is this going to impact society. And then last year I started looking for a Bitcoiner job. Yeah.
And how do you think it will impact society, the Bitcoin?
Yes, I really think this is like a ground layer. If you think of a house, I think Bitcoin is in the base, like in where you put your foundations. So if you don't have strong foundations, everything in the house will have a problem. But when you are building strong foundations, this will also impact in all your house, even in the latest floor or the roof or whatever. So I think it's impossible for it not to have an impact. And I think we're seeing it. Like, I think when I talk to Bitcoiners, and how the way they're thinking is different, and understanding where the problems comes makes you, allows you to take different decisions, you know. Like, I talk with my normie friends, and they're like, I don't know, everything is getting more expensive, and we'll never afford a house, and my salary is not good enough, and I have to get a second job and whatever. But they are not aware of why is this happening. So the decisions they'll make won't probably fix the problem, you know.
Yeah, and I think like, I have a lot of thoughts about that, and for me, like Bitcoin in the purest form is just money, but you can clearly see that every Bitcoiner has an extremely unique personality, and being in a room full of Bitcoiners just feels so different in
Mhm.
being in a room from like not Bitcoiners, and sometimes I think maybe it's because Bitcoin is something where you have to put your ego away. And because you have to put your ego away and learn something, and you have to deal with it that you did not buy in 2011 and did you not buy in 2015, and you bought at like 60,000 maybe, and you might be angry at yourself because like you missed out on a lot of opportunity, but then you realize, oh shit, it's actually a really, really, really good asset and money. And because you have to be really curious, you have to be really open-minded, you have to put your ego aside. And I think this is why the Bitcoin community is right now so amazing, because
Mm.
we're just in a really early stage. Also, I'm wondering how, if this is going through society completely and will actually change society, or if we are just a small group that is just different because we are early and we discovered it. And because also I don't know if everybody will use Bitcoin in the way we are using it right now and being so deeply ingrained in it. Maybe people will use it on layer 10 and don't even know that Bitcoin is like the groundwork, like they're living in the penthouse floor of the in the building and don't even know what's in the basement. Uh, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think that if you think about it, right now people don't understand what money is and maybe don't comprehend what fiat is, but it's still shaping the way they behave. Like it's changing your time preference. It is changing like how we consume. This need to get rid of it fast is imposed by how this technology has been designed. So I think that even though you might not know in the future like exactly what Bitcoin is, or you maybe people won't care, I think that it's setting this layer on like on the bottom where we can enable this other way of behaving, like this low time preference, and maybe much more things. Like when you think about it, it's crazy that today we work for money that someone else is printing for free. So and I know that money is just money in a way, but also it's like how would you describe a society? Like when does a group of humans become a society? Um, and I think that there are like a few things that might make the difference. I think one of those is money, like the ability to transact with one another and to create this technology. It's for me one of the first things you need to have in order to have a society. So I can't see that this is not going to have a bigger impact, you know?
Yeah, it's beautiful because I already had two guests on that said the same exact thing without knowing each other actually, and it's Bitcoin is a system based on love. Because if you have a system that's completely trustless, you don't even have to trust it. You know mm, the financial energy you transact, as you said in your early example from Germany to Chile, you can rely on that. It's actually coming to the right address. Nobody can put a stop on it. Like there's no uh, fiat institution in between and saying, "Oh, but where is this 20,000 euros actually coming from? I don't want to deal with it right now. Like, please fill out those 5 forms." And then maybe we transact your money to Chile because let's make sure it's safe. Uh, and Bitcoin doesn't have this. It's trustless. Like you can just transact it. And another big part, as you also mentioned, is when you hold Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the standard form of our financial energy, um, your money gets more over time. Like your iPhone is getting cheaper every year, your bananas are getting cheaper every year. So intrinsically, we are having, we just know that when we don't spend today, tomorrow we have a little bit more. And now intrinsically, we know when we don't spend today, we have less tomorrow. And you're completely right. This will change society, and we have a lot of examples of that. That uh, society on a sound money standard is a better one. It's just like if you have a healthy money, you have a healthy society. Like you're 100% right. But yeah, so like it's just money, but money does something with us. Yeah, so I completely agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think that Bitcoin will fix everything, but I think that this it will produce like a movement on everything. Like maybe it won't we are like fixing this ground layer, and then we'll have to face maybe other problems. But I think that today we are trying to fix like small things that we see on top without like taking care of the real disease. So it's like when you put, I don't know, if like covering your wounds with makeup, like that doesn't fix the problem. Like you may seem like look like you're okay and healthy, but actually you are not curing the wound.
Your store is called Ungovernable. I'm in Austria. I'm not native English. I'm having a hard time for some reason to speak it out, but I know what it means. What does it mean for you, and why did you pick exactly this word?
Yes, I didn't want to go with my name, like my artist. It's very weird. Like in my social media or whatever, I'm always Flo Montoya, but I sign my art with both my last names. In Chile, we have one last name from your father and the other from the mother, and so I like to put them both. So my art is actually signed Montoya Salvadores. So I thought between those two things, it's like too many words. It's like too hard maybe to pronounce in like if it's coming from Spanish, and then I don't know. And then I wanted to make it like more of a brand in a way, because I wanted my website not to be just about me, but to be about the art, and hopefully about many collaborations that I hopefully get to make in the future. So I was looking for a word that would describe how I feel right now. And what I want is for us to be less governables. And I think Bitcoin is helping us to because we are obtaining this self sovereignty. We are becoming less governable, and I don't think I think that's a good thing. Like it's like when they say, um, I recently saw V of Vendetta again, and it's like when he says the people shouldn't be afraid of the government, but the government should be afraid of the people. I think that's how things should work. Like you are working there for us, like for the bigger group. If you want to be there, like it's optional. Nobody put you on top of there. You want to make the decisions, okay, go make them, but make them for everyone, not for you. And I don't see that happening right now. I see a small group of people like um, like they are using the bigger group. um, and I don't not necessarily talking about governments, but everything, like the elected and the not elected people. Like there's a small group like trying to rule the world. um, I'm very afraid of these world coin ideas. And yeah, I it's an invitation to be more ungovernable, to break the rules, to opt out, to don't care, to yeah.
Yeah. For me also, like a government should be more like a service. Like you should, government should be here for the people and service what the people want from them. Like if we have, if we all the people decide, or we want government to take care of kids during school, then it's okay. But if people say like, oh, I don't want my kid in the school, like there are a lot of Bitcoiners that are also homeschoolers, that's also an option. And it kind of was flipped around, because now there's like government saying the people what to do, and not the people saying the government what to do. Like the whole system is kind of flipped around. In like my first principles way of thinking, it should be like they're like, why is government existing at all? Like the question, like for me, it's uh things everybody needs can be more efficiently organized if it's a centralized group. For example, roads. Everybody uses roads with the car, with like street walks and stuff like that. And that's okay if it's centralized, planned, but it's a service that's there for the people. The people are the customers, the clients. They are the kings, basically. Like for me, is always the person that does like the guest that comes in the restaurant. That's the king. Like, and the people serving the food, they should serve the food to him, and not like, it's not like a privilege. Like, and there's no restaurant in the world where the cook comes out and like, you eat this today. And you have to pay this euros. No, it's the guest says, "Oh, I want to eat this today," and this is the price for it. Like the price of obviously is from the restaurant, but chooses basically from what he is eating. Like it's just flipped around for me. So I really like that word. I really like the mission was what you were saying from that. And you obviously know the Bitcoin community very well. Like you, with three different Bitcoin companies, or one is your own, and you're working with collaborations. You're a lot on Twitter, I guess, when you're the community manager of Love is Bitcoin. Um,
Yes.
what are some typical properties or typical character traits of a Bitcoiner? What would you say is the typical Bitcoiner in your world, and why are there not so many women as there should be?
I think that what I see, like a very common Bitcoiner, is someone who has like I think that's it's people who is very open, like people who are open to new ideas, even though it might seem not like it's not that way, because sometimes Bitcoiners get like really how do you say, like it's focused, and I don't know, if you're talking about a shitcoin, then they are like, no, that's not like angry, or something like that, like very reactive. But I know that in like in their personalities, it's people that's very open to new ideas. That's why that's the only way to embrace Bitcoin, is to be open to a new idea, because you were raised in a society that told you things are this way, and things have always been like this for like more than 200 years or whatever. So to be open to break that, you have to have an open mind. And then this other thing that you see when they are like very reactive is because they are protecting this thing that they found that is so important. And it's like this analogy, when I think it was Michael Saylor said, like it's like the cyber hornets. That makes sense. Like if you find something that's you see it's beautiful, it has the properties to make so many lives better, to improve how humans live. Why wouldn't you protect it? Why wouldn't you be like defensive? And I also like a lot that property about Bitcoiners. I really like that when you are in a like uh, more friendly environment or something, that are really funny. I love that Bitcoiners are like the kings of memes. Like nobody memes like Bitcoiners. Um, I'm learning. I have a lot of support in the team for Love is Bitcoin, and it's impressive. Like so many ideas all the time, like so much creativity. That's also very very cool. Like I think Bitcoin pushes you to use your creativity a lot. in any aspect. Like if you're in the mining sector, you might want to find a better resource and getting cheaper energy or whatever. And if you're coding, you have to, I don't know, fix that bug, or I don't know. It's like always pushing creativity. And I think that Bitcoiners might be the most creative people in the world, like the people who is embracing this right now when it's not obvious, because in the future it will be like, oh yeah, of course we trust in Bitcoin, or we believe in this. But the people who are seeing this right now, I think it must be like I said, like very open-minded, but also very, very creative. And I'm feeling like, as I'm saying this, a bit like I'm feeling super blessed to be in this group. And I know for me, I feel like it was just luck. I wasn't looking for this. I just happened to have a family who is very curious. I think that my dad is always this kind of people who like embraces new things, like who wants to study. My brother as well, they are more technological. And yeah, I feel very blessed to be in this, to call myself Bitcoiner, to meet new people who is doing so different, so much different things. And yes.
I think that's an extremely accurate description of a Bitcoiner, because they usually have like they're all different. Like I have now like 20 people on the podcast, and I could ask the same 10 questions to everybody, and it would be an extremely unique conversation, and a conversation worthwhile. Because everybody is so unique, but they have one thing in common for me. It's curiosity and open-mindedness. It's like the if you Bitcoin is for me the only community where an vegan and a carnivore can sit next to each other and don't kill each other. Like it's like a carnivore who eats only meat, and then and vegan that only eats like non meat stuff, non animal stuff. That's the most craziest thing ever, when you sit those people together, because they have completely different mindsets, opinions about one specific topic. And in Bitcoin, it kind of unites us, although we are so different and such unique personalities. And for the second part of the question, it's I'm on the hunt to finding more women in the Bitcoin space. It's not easy. I have You're now my second from 20, so that's really bad bad for me. But I'm really searching. Like, why do you think it's maybe harder for women or girls to come into the space,
No,
or how can we improve on that?
I'll redirect you some amazing girls in the space. Like you have to interview them, because there is so much talent, and so much. There are a lot of women doing different stuff, like from the art scene to everything. And I think that I cannot speak for everyone, but I think that we might have been raised to think that technology is for boys in a way. In my case, that was actually true. Like I really always thought that I wouldn't be able to understand it, and then it was like, yeah, maybe you can. Maybe you start reading and learning about it, and yeah, maybe I'm not like very passionate about the technology in general, but I'm able to learn it. And I think that we have to start breaking those like walls, because otherwise we'll be losing so much talent from people who has their unique perspective and life experience, who can bring so much to this space. And someone who is doing something like that I'm really impressed of her work is Krista Edmonds. I think she's from London. I don't know if you know her, but she lives in Canada, or is working there, I think. And she's doing, it's like a site, it's called Access Tribe. And she's not only like helping women to empower themselves, she's doing these online courses where you can learn and teach from different topics. Many are Bitcoin focused, but sometimes it's something different, like I don't know, and she's creating like a, a community of women, and I think that she's also trying to raise like capital for this. For women who are building their own companies in the Bitcoin space. So there are things happening, and I think you are going to start to see much more ladies in the space.
I hope so. Yes, it's definitely needed. For me personally, I like obviously I know way more boys and men's in my personal life because like friends and stuff. Like I think that's natural for a woman to know more women and for men to know more men. I don't know if it's that. Of course, there are exceptions of that, but at least for me, it's like that. And I have a way harder time to. Or let's take it like that. If I tell someone like a man or boy in my sphere about Bitcoin, um, they are sometimes even like a little bit like, oh yes, I know about Bitcoin. Like they, even though they don't know anything about Bitcoin, they say they know everything, and they're super confident about it, and they're like, oh let's do it. And there are some of them that I speak 5 minutes about them in Bitcoin, and they're like how can I buy it? And then yes, download this wallet, I buy some Bitcoin for you, transfer it to you. Like they're really like instantly in doing it. Maybe it's because don't have the good connection, but I find it harder with orange billing girls. Like, but that, maybe it's just me.
I don't know. Um, for example, from my group of friends, I haven't been too successful in the orange peeling, but for example, there was a couple that I orange peeled, and I remember I was very obsessed about Bitcoin because now I try to talk about it when people are asking more than just trying to bring that up. But at the moment, I was like, "This is crazy! You have to know about this," and like going on and all. And the price was like about $8,000 per Bitcoin, and he was like, no, that thing is a scam, and I don't know, blah blah blah. And she was like way more open, like, don't explain it to me, like I don't want to understand, but I kind of feel like you're telling me something that is true. And then they were like, no, 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 we're not going to buy, we're not going to buy. So that was in the last bull market, so the price started to go up. And next time he was like, okay, maybe this is not a scam, but it's, I don't know, another critique, and then another, and he was like accepting it like piece by piece. And when he was like, okay, we're going to buy, it was like the top of the past bull market. And then I told him like, this is because I when people starting, like I don't say like you have to hodl forever or something like that, because I think people don't understand that at the beginning. So I tell him you have to at least hodl for like 4 to 8 years to see like you're winning in terms of dollar, in the hope that in that time the person will start learning more and get more curious, and also because it's like it, it's how it is, like don't put money you're going to need tomorrow for food, so he bought at the top, and then the bear market came, and he was like super, no, why did I do this? And I told him like, do you remember the first time I spoke to you? He was, yes, it was eight. Yeah, he did remember, like it was $8,000, and I fucked up, and yeah, and his wife is like super chill, like she's like, we're going to wait, no problem. And he's like suffering because the price is not at the same or more today, and she's like, this is long term, I don't care, like and yeah, I have had that experience with not many people, but also other friends, like girls are like, okay, I already did this, I'm gonna forget about it, not even gonna try to learn, like I will forget and I will look it when you tell me. And then I try to I don't know, like microdose the orange pill, and I think that's working better.
Yeah, I also learned like Right, like I was super passionate about orange pilling people in the beginning in 2020, beginning of 2021 also, but somewhere in the middle of 2021 and end of 2021, I was like, I don't care anymore. Like I everybody in my friend and family circle knows that I'm the Bitcoin guy, and if they want to learn about Bitcoin, they can come anytime. Like, and this is how I approach it right now. Like, if someone shows actual interest and willingness to learn about Bitcoin, of course, I'm telling that about them about Bitcoin and what it is and what it's not. But they they have to have interest of their own to begin with, because if they are not interested in the beginning, you will not make them interested in it.
No.
They have to have some motivation of their own, because it's just too hard to learn with by force. Like, you cannot force someone to learn. Maybe you can spark an interest in them, but then you have to let them go and do the research, and then maybe they come back and you can welcome them. Like, I always like when I sometimes see a lot of toxicity in the Bitcoin space, and I always try to be like, let's welcome them with open arms. Like I also called Bitcoin a scam in 2019 and 2020. I bought, in 2021 I went all in, and I loved how Bitcoin community welcomed me, and how Bitcoin in general welcomed me, and I think we should not be, oh, you said once that your Bitcoin is a scam, and we're just throwing them out. Like, everybody will come to Bitcoin. Like, we will onboard the next 1 billion people in the next few years. We need a lot of educators. We need a lot of content. We need a lot of infrastructure, technology, and ecosystem. Let's open everybody who is willing to give for the community with open arms. And let's not forget why we are here, to have everybody on board.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're having an end routine on the podcast, where the previous guest asked a question for the next guest, without knowing who's the next guest is, and your question is an interesting one. It opens up a whole different topic. What is the difference for you between filtering and censoring? Is there any difference?
Filtering and censoring. I think it might change with the context, but I think that's when you censor something, it's more violent. Like, you have to impose something. Like, it's not on your private self or your space. It's like, if you don't do what I want, you are going to receive like punishment. And I think that filtering is more like in your own space. Like, this is what I accept, and this is what I do not accept. I'm not censoring you. Like, go talk your thing, go do your stuff. I'm not going to consume it. I'm not going to approve it in my private space. I would say.
Yeah, it's like those questions are always great, because someone gets the question for someone else, and they don't know each other, and you don't know what his intention of the question was, and, and then neither does he know who gets a question. But I think the filtering and censoring, it's sometimes people are saying, oh, I want to filter this out, I want to focus on that, and on a personal scale, it's completely fine. Like, like, fine, you have to filter out, you have to focus, like, you have to guard your time so heavily. Like, everybody wants a piece of your time, everybody wants a piece of everything, especially if your time gets more valuable, if your time and you get more wealthy, and you get more like kind of social status. But even with when we are looking at the state level where there's a lot of censoring going on, or like a fiat system, there's a lot of censoring going on, and they're also talking about, oh, we are filtering out stuff, we want to filter the bad people out. That's just censoring for me. Like, for me, there's not a lot. Like, those words are basically the same for me. You can say, okay, filtering is a personal level, that's okay, but censoring is on a state or institutional level. But basically, you're filtering someone out, and he's not seen. If you're doing it for yourself, it's recommended because you cannot intake everything. But if an institution does it for financial transaction and they have a monopoly on it, then it's definitely wrong, and it should not be there. What's your thoughts? Because you're a lot on X, and it's just a random question that came up in my head. What's your thoughts about X right now? Like, do you like the changes the last 1 2 years? How do you like X? And is X the best platform for you, or Twitter, or is do you prefer some other platform more?
No, I think I'm there because people are there. Like people is making it special. Um, if Bitcoiners were to move to Nostr, I would love that. I would be there much more time. Like I'm. That's the difficult thing, that everyone has to make that decision. Like everyone has to move to the next thing in order for it to work. And if everyone is waiting for other person to move, then nobody moves. um, but today it's like my main channel to connect with Bitcoiners, and I'm very far away. Like I would love to go to more meetups and stuff, but like to meet in person. That's why I love like conferences. I have been very lucky to be in 3 conferences in my life, and it's very different, it's special, and I love it, but it's really hard to participate. And here in Chile, um, we are just starting to make like a bigger group, to have more meetups, but everything is really slow and small. So yeah, I think it's more out of necessity.
Yeah, it's X is the place where kind of every Bitcoiner is right now. It seems like it. Where can people find you? A bit, basically on X, your handle, and you're also working at the 3 different companies. Where do you want to guide people to? Like, where do you want to point them?
My website is ungovernable.store, and I am answering everything. So if you write me there, like if you have any question or anything, that goes directly to my email. So don't spam me, but do write me. No, and no, I really like talking to Bitcoiners, and I'm always like checking my DMs in Twitter, because and because I'm always showing my art there in X, in Twitter, or yeah, people always ask me there, like if I have something or anything about the projects. But now that I have built the web, I think it's a I don't know. I made my effort to make it pretty, so go enjoy it and see the art and talk to me.
It's definitely a great website. Like, I can recommend it a lot.
And for the jobs you said, like, well, if you talk to Libby, which is a character, remember, in Love is Bitcoin, I'll be there with the team, and we're always like very happy to talk, to engage, to answer DMs and everything. If you have a brand and you would like to be part of this, like to be in the magazine, and just go write us, and we are like very open to work with small or big brands. Like it's for us, the only thing is that it's Bitcoiner. That's all that matters. And in panties, I'm working like create, well, with them I'm more behind the scenes. I really love it because I'm able to go back behind the camera and take the pictures, or I don't know, like I'm trying to work with the team to create ideas for new campaigns and collaborations with other brands. And yeah, we're working, we're doing like some like spaces and things like that, so that people get to know like the personality of the brand. Panties for Bitcoin, for those who don't know, is created by a family. It's a family company. They have always worked in the industry of underwear, and one day they were like, we want to do something for Bitcoin, but what can we do? Like, we have always worked in this industry. And then they decided, you know what, we are going to make underwear for Bitcoin. And it's very cool because I think it's like a glimpse in the future. Like, um, it's like every company will be a Bitcoin company when they say that. Like, you can feel that with panties. Like, they are experts, and they have their own value. Then they want to bring that value, what they know, to the community. And that's I don't know. I think it's very valuable. And also, if you wanna move to a Bitcoin standard, you need more brands like with like regular stuff who accept Bitcoin and are Bitcoiners, hopefully. So I really love what they're doing too.
That's great. Thank you, Flo, for being on, and I hope we can do that in again sometime.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun.